Madam was a name Paiboa, Moboma and Yamai. Mojidi say Mompaibo Ekaho, Entina and Ne Ghana Eda Sutia Sumjemo. If we say, we share Amaya, a child who is here, a be any Sumjekra, a be Ewo on Tokwa, Koso. And so Namia boy who by a film independence, a chess and Sada so. Namujide say, Namin any year, still and Sada so. Until we say, and Yoma and Koye, Obi Abeja to Musa and Yoma and Koye. And so, Namujide say, Yamibe. Yawo spiritual. Umfanche me twikasa no lodina na kire me nti edu bebi ana me ho akire me kakra yawo the spiritual plane and yawo the physical na mo asofo mo na spiritual plane no mo ka ho a mo hweso na over the physical also aban and other human institutions and you operate on the physical. And so, won't me if you say Nipa Yami boy or the air to assassin so now assassin physical. And so you say home myself so home. And see Bibia Ube who say Yanko so say physical spiritual na abind to na alignment. It is a boom na it is a omaino akunini na eno ejina mpaibo ene nyamesoma omaino ejidi se omosom erade ombe ye omafa ene ejumaden enso uhia se nyame behira na enyoma akoyi amawo enti na mesese nyame adom ne eba afibia ye beda nyame ase with a National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving. Now, I know you're the best momonsa more and I'm organizing a buying a big near support him, but it will be the clergy who will be at the forefront of the National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving. And near one crying now in the regional level also. You better replicate this National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving. You better nyamiase for Shira, we shrine. Na you say Oshira on now danasia or the become na baby penso aga na edro no. You hear say nyame ebeboa na yetime pega ye man no na esen gina na so if you say ye man no abofom. Senya minua osofo kano. Or see a black star na shrinking. Black Star na ira atop from every flag also. Yeah, Black Star of Africa and Kruma Ejefa who the first country in sub-Saharan Africa. Obia Eshe Segana and a year role model in Africa. And then Antisabio. Na Miyama Pinino, Mitako conferences, and Yoma, a friend is some Becca Sawaha, Braha, a person they will name the better Jumedia BH. Na bibia mekobia Naomi na ebusam say na Ghana aden ebane sen na Ghana adani ni adani yetimi ahwe yisika semso na nkrofo ba ha ebesua enyoma nhihye a yede hwe yisika so ne ade obibi e friend gift miss a ya digitalize your budget ni bibia nkrofo ba besua fi ho Abra did district assemblies concept by and Crofoba Ebisian free of a judiciary justice system and Crofoba Ebisian. And so, next of the Bibia Atosin Ewa mind. Na Brofobeka said Ghana is at the crossroads. Senya also pending Kayano. 7th December, there. There was a ye. Bako so mine be kunanim ana se o mine ebesa na chi ana se bebe ijina na bejina ya dia e wo se Ghana fo yina ye ko kire adwe na yeyi bako na NDC de nya hoho yekuta oman no da ama obi ehu amamboa ye abra yekuta oman no na wohwe se ne nyoma si akọ afie wotwe a na ayade a ayasefem efise epija oman no koduru baby mebeye mampanyi na anya de da fom na ohaw bebre wo ho samre no economy no na yene organized labor ye inherit fi kofo aban no mo ye ne friend single spine investor salary structure and a Professor Mills ebae enti Professor Mills ba ya na me ye na bedetri na negotiations ni wi enti Professor Mills assure organized labor say ye be so na ye no matras ni aka o salary asem enti ye negotiations ne sa ekopem ye and after started say you implement salary structure no na na adwin say si implement structure no emfa sika embeka ho in that kind of way so ye wie ye no na bosom bia si tua anamika se afibia si ye yi aketua ye tua aban workers asamre no mo ye be 700,000 edi your tax revenue 73% of your tax revenue and now 27% for everything else bibia bibia na 23% and now was say yehwe say ne be ye ne kakra kopem ye betimi asan apeja oman no enso kakra ebedru 2016 na enyoma ye your debt to GDP 57%. Your deficit about 6.1%. Sika your free central bank ho. And say you can borrow up to 5% of previous year's budget. 2016 yanje kapre ewo central bank ho. Ya yesika any etwa ye. Ya yesika ni etwa ye any day ebu o mine. The budget was completely financed by government itself. Cocoa Ijumano Yepeja Group and Pensobi 967,000 tons. Ekakakra menya 1 million tons. Namika said that year cocoa syndication at the $2 billion and about omainum. The Yejumadin at the 2 new oil fields by 10 field any ENI. And also Peja Frangua yetu Ghana at the Kwamano Nekoton. And also at the Sika Yenye free hono Ebekao. And Nanyoma and yade to me ma yenu by. Nanami ujidi se almost on befa if you baby I walk now on my peja akosro. And so now I'm in Mokase. Ye bibia se, ye Sika Semase. Na Bibia Ebebabe J Power on 7th December, 7th January 2025. And yeah, a Juma Edafon. It's going to be very difficult to bring things back to normal. And may say there's been a criminal supervision of the destruction of our economy. Because I can say, Panasa, okay, you know, say, oh, COVID indeed. And so, COVID. As a result of COVID, 25 billion cedis era or maimu. Now, share auditors general reporter 25 billion, 40% spent any day COVID ejuma. Niaka, we don't know what happened to the rest of the money. Auditor General identified actual companies via your mom contract, no procurement, nothing. And see, you're fine on Tonchen. I say Russia, Ukraine. Now Russia, Ukraine, Cote d'Ivoire, Russia, Ukraine, and count more now. Cote d'Ivoire make us say inflation rate at 5%. Nanyare who say Ghana has always been the second largest economy in West Africa. Menu Kase under Akufo-Addo Bawumia government 2022 Cote d'Ivoire besan yo. Until now Menu Kase Ghana is the third largest economy. Cote d'Ivoire is the second. Enti simple fact ne say ya manage ya nyoma yie over a 5-year period, international credit market borrow $11.5 billion, largest borrowing under any government. $11.5 billion Eurobond sikankwa. Sasike ankebetimi aye railways, ankebetimi esi school adan na, ankebetimi aye yakwan nyina, ankaye hospitals nyina ebetimi aye. So Aminu can say we can't account for what that money has gone into. It's gone into consumption, increased expenditure. Osha Western Rail Line, see at the Western Rail Line, it's just about $1 billion. Makuboro 11.5 billion. We could have connected Takrade Port through Awaso all the way to Kumasi and Yenehi, near Kochinya bauxite, Aba, na Yadiakwama, no near Koton. There's been mismanagement of the economy. And mismanagement, Musiaka say, nepotism. That is one of the results of nepotism. Because nepotism, they say, we are leader. Now, instead of saying, Obekofa nipa, or Sefata say, Ode nichina baby, no akofa webusieni, ana unya akujina ho. Because as I am making, if we say, President, they on one in your finance ministry. And sir, and you may see here, debt to GDP ratio echo from 57%. By the time I year call IMF, now your debt to GDP drew 104%. A car net that 120 billion. By the time I year call IMF, now I could do 763 billion. Ocean inflation cost to 54%. I think now from to 23. At the year 2016, Yanje Capre Ewo Central Bank. In 2021 and 2022, a buying Emma Central Bank printed 47 billion. And then again another 32 billion. And no my inflation cost to 54% because why economics? They say inflation is too much money chasing too few goods. And they say ultra sikaguma obia uska and so o production no and less than sikana obia ewa all spending. And inflation cost through to 54%. They're trying to mop up money from system no central bank. And IMF, you say no central bank borrowing. Into this year, say, a buying intimate kwadis kebia ewo central bank, send inflation ebeba from. Na neha drink any debt no, because maybe I call IMF. Just because of focus on your friend macroeconomic instability. Into be our reserves come from na o deficit ekosoro. Into call IMF ombe babe yeti say a teacher for obi abeje di say ne waka say obeye na obeye because IMF tina also enti na ya call IMF na ye no mo hye say ye be say ye be raise revenue ye be reduce expenditure ye be say enti after 1 year 2 years say bibia ye okay na IMF atwe omo ho also na America say problems are what you know, back macroeconomic stability and a back debt. Na debt no or how we bring pensioners we bring and for provident fund because we call maybe a safest investment I'll be to me and they say what they usika ma abine because and times he say abine the babeka say my jebosia into Africa na me so bintininja and see that anti pensioners nipa bebre abanse o meton bondi anti obeto mema o interest rate say into this sika shemwa anti emre no dru na mature na aban etua o interest so pese sika na ewo ho a you put it in again no mature o interest anti nipa bebre a omo ye dru retirement me sure say asofo no bi de omo sika she Abra asemi si near catch say the way I must say Jebosen at the assembly bank, the way I must say Jebosen at the assembly bank. So no more feel say NDC MPP, NDC MPP, the usual noise. And Tinipa be I'm funny seriously. But me kai say from 2018, 2019, and they started say you raising red flag, say finance minister or Boro or Jebosen too much. A Chile and Sana, almost MPs, 80 of them almost signing a petition say president in union in fear if you show him economy no check. Now many American say if any people be person much who film I can say oh yeah the near home now yeah this shot can offer baby obia can because budget be or the buy or the call cabinet busia be or the boy or the call cabinet won't mean bobusia abra won't call cabinet and koje approval into busia bia or boy or the call cabinet. It is out cabinet and a moji tomb, sir, Uncle Bobosia, and I say on your budget in this year. Won't you mean Trevor whom can say, Namidem your driver meet into me to folk send me what's a me and so some far and coming. Maybe it's collective. Many professor mills here, Juma. Metna cabinet moon. So Professor Mills in Niwa, Mina me chair cabinet. Professor Mills who ye, I mean funny friends ye. Man sorry I'm because near ye no minim hoshe. Near ko ye na ye for credit no. Nyanko ye na ye for subono. Also we have a situation now. Say a ko year, you say oh, mina me ye 33 police, mina me de buy. And so economy now say no, oh I know the me person me can ho asem. Meanwhile economic management who now down. Budget via a Beba Parliament via a co-economic management team first, normal approval, and sign about cabinet. And to now that economic management team are no assign better cabinet, no approval, and sign our parliament. It is governance more. One of the things that you have in leadership is a collective responsibility. Say, oh, abaimuna bibi koswa. You don't like one person or they can't sa adiana kosa. What do? You leave. That's the principle of leadership. If you don't agree, if you disagree strongly about something, and you leave. Say, oh, sorry. Now, among the principles of sorry, you say yenje say obani obabe wari. Now suddenly, sorry, and say, oh, baby, we are say Druno, you perceive a chitum. Now, oh, gentumwa, oh, yeah, then, obetram, obefim, you leave. But won't you mean train? I say, you know, no, I can say, they made them and come home until me away from. Now, social economy now, and the control BBR. It is a it affects education, it affects health, it affects agriculture, it affects sports. Now say black stars Black stars are no much reka crack. I come to Umpo now no musha now with the Haji. Now refi will come. And then black stars. Sudan, Menoka say, Omambo macho, because a kunchina holding the and so Sudan and African Cup of Nations, Black Stars, Kwame Nkrumah Black Stars. For the first time in 20 years, he am qualified. It's a reflection of near Koso, or my anymore. Now, Oshe Proverbs 29:2. They say, when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. When the wicked rule, the people mourn. And no any woman. World Bank say 800,000 of our people in the last 3 years are falling below the poverty line. Your poverty line, I'm saying right now is $2 a day. And to anybody who earns less than $2 a day, you are below the poverty line. Now, within the last 2-3 years, you grow for 800,000 are falling below the poverty line. Now, Osho Ghana Statistical Service say multi-dimensional poverty has increased in every region. enti adia what's yehwe na yeso ano wohwe Afrobarometer reporter more than 80% of Ghanaians say ekwan a yenam so no yayira na wonam kwan so no ayira oyede say o san wechi enti emre na duru say yesan yechi ebi say yetoa so e wo sa kwan no so a ne ebekwa akoba no enye kra enti ne won say o say aban ankasa ati some expenditure. That's the expenditure also. One of the mistakes are buying is instead of lowering expenditure, almost increase the expenditure, but are increasing revenue by adding more taxes. Say, over now a problem in your family. Now you can say family budgets no so, and anka hamburger obeto ama obano obema na twen kakra also ebiana woni wona fofo ekodi omuto ni ade weekends ni ade no so obete so na bicycle anka obeto ama kweko no obetwen kakra se na be ya expenditure no ebeba from kakra na wabomodin either say oyire ene wo mo bepe edwuma baako bi aka ho to increase the income, because income and expenditure and say or expenditure also change or income it will lead you into debt. And see also yes adjustment also about every budget there's a huge increase in amount of expenditure and there's a lot of waste. Afibia Auditor General the reporter 13 billion ayira in Crawford Yomusa boom as a tribute and Katasishani project way case iba na yasheda ni ayano ngrai and then minimum kase obia yakuhu sika won impasse case na way yetiam you know, but senipa anya asotwe a other people will be emboldened to do the same. It's na yedi akase yaba will give unfettered access to the institutions mandated to fight corruption to do their work without interference. Ntimaka message say NDC abayimba na yamawa appointment na okasa obeya say okoye bibi na aban so mu a enye yasem wo wasem okoka wasem na yejawa wasem okoka so na wudifo a enye asotwe a wose omma wo no de be ma enti eno as soon as NDC abayimba ye ade friend of National Economic Dialogue ye be pain ye was senchi and to take senchi conference na the same thing ye free obia stakeholders, organized labor, religious leaders, traditional rulers, lecturers, lawyers, doctors, obia baby and ye be economy no chire obia. Many workers say we are not in charge until we cannot tell the true state of the economy. Ebia na say no mo ka chen say deficit ye say and I say ye say na entesa until ba na ye take you over na ye who books na ye be free mu nyina no mo abehwe na ye wom say na be ye nyina wo ye be hu problem e da ye nim so that ye na be som na yes no na yasan peja ya man no ejina na na so ena bibia ko fom koko ejuma no abofom this year be 400,000 tons be anything here na areo say my wo hono say ya jisika for another 350,000 tons I am fanko enti asre enkrofo ne say omomaye afi next season yeah the beko until next season koko aye beti akono ya de ka 350,000 no I just say ke bia ma if say koko no ya de ka ya jisika no dada and so yetimi amfa koko na anko until we are already in a deficit for next year. Then apart from that, oil and gas also baby aye pejai na edisika ba yenkwa yaba abemu we discovered 2 new oil wells Ghana oil production no cost Prosata mills, Yamin Fanny Creancy, Yenya gas on a Shasini Atwabo gas processing plant. Mebejia, and can get a trouble gas processing plant in here. And would have been spending almost $400 million every year on oil, crude oil alone. In Tabe and Faswa, but and then I mean, no, because it's a Jumano coffin because of Nipa by oil contract via on per se Omode Omo Ebusia Eshim. Into ExxonMobil, one of the biggest oil and gas producing company. They couldn't take it, so they withdrew. Now I cancel. PMP say was say almost omunya share and also aka eja ejuma to ho. ENI so enya problem kakra any local company. Ya pese echi ENI for no etum na omode omubibia ko Cote d'Ivoire. Omode omusika ekohwehwe frango ko Cote and amene ka say 50,000 barrel oil field omakonya Cote d'Ivoire ye de eda ho. No investment in 8 years. In 8 years here, there's been no additional investment in our oil and gas sector. I feel so. What we need about climate change and renewable energy. Maybe we are saying because of climate change, one person won't take the amount of oil you use so. And to see two oil and then and maybe nobody would want to buy crude oil. And will say we are because they have the technology. We don't have it. And so see a copper na crop almost and a bay on baby 2 franc on them. Na yenya home for so sana drew mrea or being here. And now I say electric cars are coming. Now electric cars, it's me the solar and pole a charge it. Now no me to kitwa bako. Our model solar panels are better my garage so. Until me plug here. After some hours now I have fully charged. Charge here me 320 kilometers and sana my charge bill. Until I'm so say we must make use of our oil and gas as quickly as possible. Send a MB Drew baby your friend stranded assets a church or resource no but to be ampe. Until no see idea was here. Then apart from that, America for my Isika say your electricity system because ECG and J Sikadodo was omoje no multimedia omoya kaniano. ECG menum ukase omo ye technical and commercial losses of 32%. Now electricity company BI and we say 32% loss. Technical and commercial losses you can continue to survive. A year ago, ECG a loss of almost 10 billion cedis. I'm said this year another 6 billion cedis. In America, my say now you're private sector. And be boy, send a bear, a bills, no more meters, abobo or BFE. Into Oman a coffer company be by a CPDS. PDS by a fee, Tremamenting, say na. Say some Ghanaians should invest in it. Until you can be my own invest here. Until I feel Omon a deal with him quiet. Now, Mushe Chira, Omuye Abain Enipa. I feel almost say, way more shares now, Muji, and I feel Mumbrani and Kasana, Oyenhunia, Wumumai, and a day and Toka, a bar Omutim. And I tremamenting and America say okay and me $190 million medical and no medical. And there's been a lot that has not gone well. Na Mrena so Nyame amaya kwenya se yebesa ato aba na yeyi kandifo a ombedi enim for the next 4 years. And idea was say your dream who ye near system Senabea we can have a new start and my friend a reset. And my friend a reset. I told you be out with our phone. We want na screen na freeze. We had the there and call. And just a restart your phone no. I know your friend a reset. And just a reset your phone no. Asana I started here Juma. And Tigana you drew baby your phone na freeze enti e was say reset phone no na yetimi aye adwuma bio na ne twato a meka ene family values bill na family values bill no parliament ehwemu na unanimously omu nyina agitumu, not one person objected to it na ede koma omampanyi se oya bill bia entimi nyamra age se omampanyi de ne satoso enti edru se omode be kwa koma omampanyi na omunya obi ekọ court eka se court no and stopping speaker from sending it to the president. Now, me lawyer, me a pocket lawyer, but me kind constitution now. Court need to me say a bit stopping speaker from carrying out his constitutional duty. Speaker kwa ena constitutional amano sa akwenya say oye say jumano. And there's no court that can interfere with the speaker in doing his constitutional duty. And Chanka was say speaker etimide yinoko also omampanyi office etron said they be obi court now only as we say here nipa no ko file case no me say this here nipa no ko file case no a day after omampanyi eka say obi a file case. What they tell me? We are them who say Obi Eko file case. Into on the 5th, Omampanyi office said they be mamufa in because Obi a file case. And so Omo file ya Omo de rate na by date was not yet the set the next day. And Tiama Obi who say and near someone money ni pana ye you say uncle file and so anything they fan say. And a court atna sa case so. What they say now we see here, I say parliament. I say some seats are vacant. And tomorrow within 1 week, na court ashemu aye bibia ewe. And so that case, family values bill. Beye bosoman siani ena sa asem ebae up to now Supreme Court enka hohwe. But the American is saying constitution actually and yoma miensa was a president here. Say parliament pass a bill na eba president anima or 3 alternatives. One, either say obejetum no assign it. I just say she ni hwa make say enye nti massign it. 2, president betimi aka say oh ade mi ntimi sign it because of say no akire wadwen na what they na can bill no assign their co-speaker ho. Send a bear parliament better say no much nyoma okay no no massa bill no more. So on be amendments are on best san you maybe no massa de aba no assign it. Say o mampanyan kasa ni ene eyi but osha ade make here say empenyufo so behwe na omatumefo. O mampanyi e debate me akoma council of state constitution ma ho kwansa na council of state ahwem na omotu omampanyimfo se bill a odi bae ye hwe se hane ha se parliament hwe ho bioma anka ebeye nti no ma san de aba omampanyi na omampanyi e de akọ parliament with council of state or more advice no it is an your man saying na president betimi aye